So hello everyone. Like I said in the previous episode, maybe this episode will be the last episode of this course because we're going to actually complete the main gameplay of the game in this episode, and the other stuff would be like cosmetics for the game, and mm, maybe we're not going into them. So now let's start by creating a new canvas, UI canvas, and so what is exactly the canvas? So we're going actually, we want actually when the arrow hits the player, uh, which- where the arrow hits the player itself, we want actually to show a text that says, okay, game over, and we cannot actually continue the playing. So for doing this, we have to actually create, first of all, create a canvas, and let's in here let's create a UI text, and this gonna be game over. Um, just a simple settings. It's gonna be bold, and maybe the text itself is so not actually big enough. Let's see, 22. The color would be completely black, and yes, and and we have actually to rename it to the game over txt underline txt. And we need actually a background for the game over. So UI image pg underline game over. For example. So now let's just put them all to 0, 0, 0, and make sure it is above the text. And put the and select color like this, and actually reduce the opacity. Maybe this is gonna be fun. Yeah, we have it. Yeah, we've done it here. So another thing that we have to actually make sure to uncheck the canvas to sorry. So another thing is we have to write a code for the player itself, and if the arrow hits the player, so it will actually show the game over menu. I mean, check the selected true, show the game over menu, and mm, yes, that's all. And actually remove the player from the scene. So now let's go in the scripts, right click, create a new C# script, call it player, and open it in the Visual Studio. So we won't need the both of the update and start message, so let's go ahead and delete them. First of all, we have to access the game over menu, so for that let's write public game object game over menu. So the next thing is we have to check if we hit or if the arrow hits the player. So for doing that, let's write void on collision enter 2D, and in here we're going to check if collision.gameObject dot compare tag would be equal to the. We can actually check the tag would be equal to the arrow We have several ways for doing this, but I choose this one. So we're doing the following. First of all, let's actually destroy the arrow itself, collision.GameObject. Then we're going to actually game over menu dot set active equal true, that we can actually see the menu. For actually pausing the game and stopping arrow maker, we have to actually say time.timescale time.timescale would be equal to the 0. And finally, we have to actually destroy ourselves. So destroy this.GameObject. Let's save it. And in the Unity, let's choose the player and assign the code to it and see if it's a work. So let's take the arrow. It has the the arrow tag. So now let's hit play and see what will happen. Oh, so we have a now it's working for but we have another problem. Just give me a sec. Now the problem is solved. All you do have to just change the gravity scale to the 50. So we have to actually do the final thing, and that is if the arrow hits the wall itself, it should be destroyed. So for doing this, let's go to the scripts and and open the wall script. Unlike the actually player escape, in here we're going to actually call the onclusion enter 2D method, and collision enter 2D method. And in here we're going to check if like the player script, but if actually the collision dot game object dot compare tag would be equal to the arrow. So just destroy the arrow, destroy the collision dot game object, and that's all. Let's go back to the Unity and check the game. So we're here. Let's actually hit the play button and see what will happen. What? Just give me a sec. Oh, it's not working. I just forgot. Instead of actually assigning the wall sprite to the wall game or to the wall object, we have to actually assign it to the wall sprite in this specific in this situation. And then we have to assign the wall object to the wall in here, and this would be our final game. If the arrow hits the wall, it will be disappear, and if one of them hits the player, oh, it was so the game is finished. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button, and just tell me in the comments what do you actually know about the Unity, what kind of games do you want to actually create, and I prepare courses for them. So thank you very much for watching.